There's a verse in the Taittirīya Upanishad that begins with these phrases. If anyone knows Brahman as non-existing, he himself becomes non-existent. If anyone knows that Brahman does exist, then they consider him as existing by virtue of that knowledge. If anyone knows Brahman as non-existing, he himself becomes non-existent. The word for existent or non-existent can be translated as unreal, while sabhavati, he becomes, can be translated as he is. Brahman is the real self, pure existence that knows no non-existence. If Brahman is known to exist, if it is truly known to exist, not as an idea, but in its real nature, as the very self, then there is nothing else other than it. There is then no scope for someone to be ignorant of it. The Upanishad says that if we think that the real self, or Brahman, is non-existent or is unreal, if we think that way, then we ourselves become unreal. We, being the real self, appear as if unreal. That is, if you misidentify with the unreal, the one who so misidentifies is himself unreal. The ego and its misidentifications are both truly non-existent. Yet the only thing that lies at the core of the ego really is the true self, or Brahman. You exist. You always exist. But if you misidentify with what is transitory and perishable, then you will perish along with those things. That is, you will seem as if you go out of existence. If, on the other hand, you know your existence as it really is, by virtue of ceasing to misidentify the self with the non-self, then you find that you yourself are of the nature of the eternal, the unborn, the imperishable. Indeed, it is only the unreal that misidentifies with the unreal. The real self remains ever of the nature of pure knowledge, transcendent and free. Consider what you regard as your identity. If you know your identity, your existence as it is, you yourself are that, the one absolute, vast and immeasurable. What do you regard as your identity? If you take on as your identity some form, the individual, the mind, the body, and so forth and so on, then as the Upanishad says, you become unreal. You become, as it were, non-existent. What in truth is your nature? What's your identity? This should be known. Thus the Maharshi's constant instruction to inquire, who am I? The Upanishad lauds Brahman. If we want to know Brahman, we must know our own nature. It is not possible to know Brahman without knowing one's own nature. But if you know your own nature, it is only Brahman. So question yourself deeply and thoroughly. Who am I? Examine what you regard as your identity. what you conceive as yourself. Negate from your identity whatever is transient, whatever is merely an object of perception or conception, whatever has limitation, parts, or division, whatever has a beginning or an end, and thereby try to discern deeply your actual existence. If you discern your existence as it is, Brahman knows Brahman. And as Brahman is the reality, you are, the wise say in the Upanishads, regarded as existing. What you mistake yourself to be cannot be regarded as existing or true or real. It is asat, non-existence, unreal, untrue. Question your identity. Who am I? If the real existence knows itself, Brahman knows Brahman, the truth knows itself. If something else is imagined, it is an imaginary conceiver imagining the imaginary object. Even then, what gives life, as it were, to the unreal? Only the real. If we know the reality as it is, then we find the unreal has never actually come to be. One thing of the nature of being, consciousness, bliss exists. You are that, and if by virtue of inquiry you know yourself as that, then you are the existent one. Though the Upanishad presents it as if it were a choice, or at least we can interpret it that way. We can be Brahman or not. We can be existent or not. That seems to be the ostensible meaning. The implication is, that is the true meaning, is that you are Brahman, you are the self, and you cannot be another. The possibility of being non-existent is itself non-existent. Therefore, dive deep within, according to Sri Bhagavan's instruction and the wisdom of the Vedas, and know that which exists. Know that to be yourself, and know that that alone exists.